Hello again, and welcome to another Adam's Corner video. On this one, I am joined by my partner,
Hello.
Miss Becky. We actually attended a screening of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning last night. We're recording this on Thursday, the 22nd. So it doesn't officially release until May the 23rd. But, a lot of people have been asking, what did you guys think about the new Mission Impossible film? And having seen it 2 days early, I guess you would say, we have some thoughts. And so everybody knows that I'm the movie critic at large, but let's let my guest here, let's let Becky say what she has to say about Mr. Cruise's latest opus as Ethan Hunt. Take it away.
Yeah, first of all, I have not seen a Mission Impossible movie in this movie theater, on a big screen, in so long. I can't even remember. Maybe saw the first one in the theaters. So I was really excited because this was actually a wonderful screen, and also had, what was the surround sound?
Yeah, we were in a Dolby Theater, folks.
Dolby
Theater, yeah. We're at Rumbles, the floor rumbles and all that. It's not IMAX, but it's a step away. It's good stuff.
Right. So the seat was rumbling. You felt like you were in the aircraft with Tom Cruise. So it was pretty cool. I enjoyed hearing it and seeing it in that perspective. So overall, it was a little long, obviously longer than the other Mission Impossible movies. So it felt a little bit laborious. But first off, great picture quality, great sound, and, was exciting to be in, to see it early.
Yes, that it was. Now, what did you think about the story? Did you think I know you had some trouble following because the last one I think you missed, which is
right.
The Final Reckoning. It's not a requirement, folks, that you've seen the other one, but it does maybe help a little bit. You finally caught up to it, but...
Yeah, the first hour was a little bit confusing. I think they did try to over-explain it, but because I missed it, I wasn't really clear on this one character. She had blonde hair and she spoke in a French accent, so I wasn't quite clear on this particular actress, but overall, it was able to, pull it together, and so the story, I could follow it, especially as the action was going.
Yep, and that last hour, you really liked the last hour, I think.
Right. No, the last hour was really cool. Once they got where they were going, basically, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, but there's some awesome scenes underwater and up in the air.
Indeed.
Yeah, what did you think about the story?
What did I think? Well, the last one... the last Mission Impossible film, it was not really well reviewed. The reviews were kind of tepid, I guess. So I didn't see it in a theater. I've seen them all in a theater except for the second one. That was the only one I missed. I've seen all the other ones in the theater as they came out. Starting with the first one way back in May of '96. I was a projectionist back then, so I saw it played in the theater. I actually ran it as a projectionist, so I can remember being up in the booth. And back then we were actually using film, so I'd have to frame it up and get it in focus and hope and pray that the film didn't break. So that's how far we've come. Now it's all digital presentations, DCPs, and so we've come a long way in 29 years. But and the first one is directed by one of my favorite directors, as you well know, Brian De Palma. So I was super excited to see what Brian De Palma could do, with the Mission Impossible film. So I think he kind of set the tone for the series. He didn't direct any of the other ones, but I found it to be amazing that the first film's an hour and 50 minutes. And here we are 29 years later, and this latest one, 2 hours and 50 minutes, folks. 2 hours and so an entire hour has been gained between the first one and the latest one. And you can see the run times creeping up. Like I think the second one was like 2 hours and 6, and then the third one was like maybe 2:08 or something, and then the third one was like 2:11, and so the times kept gradually getting longer. And now it's like, okay, we're gonna bust your bladder, folks, with this 2 hours and 50 minutes. And we both did have to, full confession, we both had to go up. We didn't use the bathroom together, folks. We didn't go that far. But
We took turns.
we took turns, and we went to separate restrooms.
Exactly.
But we do love. I mean, I do love her, but you know, you do have to draw the line at certain things.
Public restrooms, no.
Not going in there with you, babe. Anyway, no. But yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge. The first hour to me was tedious. I thought that they were really trying hard to tie it back to the original Brian De Palma film. There's a reference to the John Voight character from the first film, and I'm not going to spoil it, but you know, they try to go all the way back there, and then they have a character from the first film who comes back for this film for the last hour and 15 minutes, I guess. And he had kind of a small part in the original film, but he kind of has a pretty big part in this film, I would say. So they do manage to tie it all the way back to the first film, but the first hour was just a lot of talking. It's very talky. So if you go in there expecting all of these big stunt set pieces during the first hour, you're going to be disappointed, folks. And then the second...
It was melodramatic with Ving Rhames and the whole plot line
right.
with that. It was just sort of melodramatic, like, oh.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some emotional stuff.
Yeah.
It
Got some crying.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Twice,
He
maybe.
emoted. He reminded us what he used to be able to do in such films as Magnolia and Born on the 4th of July.
Right.
Been a long time, folks. But
Yeah.
anyway, but then the second hour, he's tasked with getting on a submarine, and he has to take this nuclear device off the submarine, and he can't get the submarine starts falling, and he's trying to get out, and he can't get his backpack and all of this breathing apparatuses into the tube that he's supposed to crawl through to get out, and so that's a pretty interesting set piece, I thought. Spoiler alert: he does make it, because he wouldn't be there for the big set piece at the end, which is big with the big airplane set piece at the end of the film.
There was some aerobatics going on. There was two biplanes, chasing each other and crawling in and out of planes and punching each other. It was very, very. I was impressed. He did a lot of those stunts himself at his age at 62, and so I was very excited about the action, but I did wonder about the plausibility of the extreme diving situation in the Arctic, and I was just like, come on. But it was rather exciting to see these two extremes of atmosphere, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, but he did some great stunt work.
Yeah, it's a good thing her father's a retired nuclear physicist, and he pokes holes in anything that's not plausible. So I think he would have had a real problem with that.
Yeah, diving down 500 feet. I just don't know if the human body. I just don't know. Like,
yeah, he would have had a real problem with that.
Yeah.
So as long as you kind of check your brain at the door on some of the factual stuff.
Suspend reality for sure.
Suspend reality. That's a good way to put it.
Right.
But the last hour of the film is really it makes you glad that you actually win.
I squeezed his hand the whole time. I was just like this the whole time.
You did indeed. And it was pretty pulse pounding. That's you've been seeing the trailers, folks. You know all that stuff. We don't have to tell you. You've seen that's the set piece where Tom hangs off of the airplane trying to retrieve the nuclear device from a plane that's below him, with the villain played by Issei Morales, who's a great character actor. 30, 40 years ago, he was in some really good stuff. Bad Boys, he plays the older brother of Richie Valens in La Bamba.
Oh, right.
That's
okay,
him, yeah.
I did
So
recognize
that was him, yeah. So he's been in many, many things. But yeah, the film I just talked about with Sean Penn, Bad Boys, he's fantastic in that. He's really scary in that. And he's also in Mi Familia, the movie with Jennifer Lopez from 1995. It was really a well-made movie about a Mexican family through the generations or whatever. You'd have to see it. I highly recommend it. But anyway, yeah, he's good. He was in the last one too, of course. So he does more of the same here. But he's a good actor. I like him. So.
Right, and I think it brought to forefront of a lot of people's fear, humanity's fear of AI gone awry, and I think that the apocalyptic scenarios that they put forth, although could possibly come about, it was really, really suspenseful, down to the wire with what was going on, and I think the story, he also brought out, like you mentioned, the acting, and the heart of it was really how Tom Cruise, the love he has for his teammates, and really that came through in the movie. With especially, I love Simon Pegg. I think he's great. I forget the name of his character, but he just does a
Benji.
You know, Benji and him, they're like besties and really good friends. And but the respect and love that he has for his teammate, that he just trusts them with everything. Like they basically have to read his mind practically in the movie to know what he needs and be there when he needs it. But in any case, it really did bring forth about how important the team is to him as people. Like more than saving humanity, he wanted to just save his teammates.
Yep, very good point. Very good, astute observations there. So yeah, we're gonna give this. If we were doing an A, B, C, or D, what would you give it? Or a 1 through 4 stars? Whichever one you want to use. I don't know.
I would say 3 out of 4.
Yeah, that's about what I'd give it. Or a B plus.
B plus.
Either. Yeah. So
it was good. It's worth seeing in the movie theater. I think for sure. If you're going to, I'd go in the Dolby theater if you can.
Yep. It's definitely worth it. So. Anyway, we won't spoil any more of the film other than what we've said. Some people are speculating, is this the last one? Well, we don't know. Could be, maybe.
Final Reckoning. I'm
but
kind of hoping he leaves on this pinnacle.
Yeah, this might be the time for him to return to the Top Gun franchise instead of another Mission Impossible. So anyway. Oh, well, that's it, folks. This is a special Adam's Corner video. We just thought we would chime in with our take on Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. And so anyway, for all of you folks who do watch my videos loyally, and you know who you are, thank you. And like, subscribe, and comment. We love interacting with you. And until the next time, say it.
Keep those discs spinning. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.